With our machine ready and LaserPost installed, it's time to define our tool library. I'll click here to open it up, and you can see I have several machines set up. Now, this part can be a bit confusing, defining machines and materials using a tool library, but just follow along because once it's set up, it's really easy to use. First, you will need to create a new tool library for each of your laser cutters. Right-click on Cloud, or Local if you prefer, and choose New Library. Give the library a name that matches your laser cutter. Click the plus icon to create a new tool and scroll down to select Laser Cutter. Now, this part is perhaps the most confusing, as each of these tools share a common kerf width, and kerf can be different depending on the material or cutting strategy. This means a single laser cutter may have multiple tools, so I find it easiest to name them with both the material and the machine name, so it's easy to understand what I've selected later on. We set the kerf width on the Cutter tab. This only needs to be as precise as your cutting application needs. If you're making a tight-fitting box joint, you need to carefully tune these values. But for basic engraving and outline shape cutting, it doesn't need to be nearly as precise. The Cutting Data tab is where we define our material library. Let's rename this for cutting 3mm acrylic. And here's where we set our feed rate. Power settings are down here, and the values are percentages of laser power from 0 to 100. If you have a laser that supports minimum and maximum power, such as is common with CO2 lasers, the Pierce power field is used for the minimum power. Finally, the assist gas field is used to enable or disable air assist. And for this application, I'll set that to on. Now let's create another, this time for cutting 5mm acrylic. I'll only change the speed as the prior values are what I need. One more, this time for etching. Again, we set our feed rate. And this time I'll set both a maximum and minimum power level. I could turn off the air assist, but I'll keep it on. In our next video, we'll do the initial cam and stock setup, all in preparation for our cutting and engraving operations.